be talking about how you can manage your first 1,000 ringgit. I will be going through very simple saving strategies. We're going to pick your brain, Peter. We're going to try and ask as many questions to you as possible so that you can hopefully educate those people who are really beginners. And if you are if you are listening, you're experienced, okay, I'm sure you guys, the followers, will learn something or two, okay? Standard disclaimers, do you want me to do it, or Peter, do you want to do it?
I think you can do it, man.
Yeah. I think both of us are not financial advisors at the end of the day. We are just speaking from our experience and opinions, so don't take any of it as financial advice. At the end of the day, if you want real financial advice, always contact a financial planner. Okay.
That's right, yeah.
Let's get started with your first question. You ready?
Yep. All good, man. Are you guys ready? If you guys are ready, type 1 in the comment, man. We got 100 people tonight. Let's see whether we can hit 300 or not.
Yeah, let's hopefully try and hit 300 before our session ends.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, let's talk about your channel, Peter.
Okay.
MrMoneyTV, obviously it started way before us, the futurists. When you guys started, what was your mission for MrMoneyTV? And is it different right now?
I have to say that things didn't really change. I'll give you all a very real perspective of why I started it. Like I've always mentioned to people, actually, I did not start off thinking I want to be an influencer. So actually, until today, I don't really see myself as an influencer. I see myself as a business owner. Yeah. What I really wanted to do was to create a product that can help people to level the playing field. The whole idea is that I always believe knowledge can transform lives. Yeah. Now, I was thinking that I can create a product, maybe a tech product, but I realized that to learn how to code at my age with a baby on the way could be a bit of a difficult thing with financial strain. So I thought the only skills that I have at the point that's relevant to tech is the ability to create a video. So I started creating videos, and naturally the inclination is actually to provide knowledge that I believe can help people to do better in life, right? So that was the whole idea. It was just that very simple premise. I simply believe that if you have the right knowledge, you can leverage on the knowledge to do much better and change the quality of your life. So that hasn't changed until today.
Right. Right. And obviously, as your channel has grown significantly, when would you say, was the point where you look at the channel and said that, hey, I'm going to start to go hard on this, I'm going to start to go serious on this and officially try and make a living out of it?
I recall the early days was very difficult. It was very scary because my baby is coming and I just got married and I just failed in my first business. So I wasn't in a very good financial state, right? So I was doing a lot of part-time and trying to make ends meet and stuff like that. In 2019, my co-founder joined me. I offered him a position as a co-founder. Then by about, I recall somewhere around October, it wasn't really because there was some change in terms of like we are making money or I'm starting to see things getting better. Right. It was simply because I met a friend, and this friend actually told me this one thing. He said, hey Peter, you look very lost right now. Because that time I was like trying to figure out how to make more money elsewhere so that I can cover my expenses and stuff, right? Then he said, you look very lost. Actually, what do you want? So I told him about Mr. Money. I said that the only thing is that I'm very scared that things won't work out. And then he told me this one thing. He said, why don't you just focus on it? Because when you focus on it, the effort will compound. And although you don't think that it's going to be happening, you don't think that it's productive, but even the very simple act of focusing and thinking about a business with the extra time could compound into something. And I thought what he said was very true. So that moment I decided that, look, I'm going to let go of everything. I'm just going to focus on Mr. Money, give myself 1 year and see where it goes. Yeah. So that was 2019 October. Yeah.
Obviously, the channel has come a long way. Okay. So let's go to the planned questions for tonight. What would you do with your first 1,000 ringgit? Assuming you are a student, perhaps still studying, or maybe you've just graduated, got your first job, managed to save up your first 1,000 ringgit. You think it's a big sum. With the knowledge that you have right now, what will you do with this first 1K?
I've thought about this question definitely many times, and I would say this thing, right? Now it's looking at the hindsight. Yeah, definitely when we first started, we will look at 1,000 ringgit. The first 1,000 we save is extremely precious, right? Now, with the condition that if you already have certain amount of liquidity, means this is not the only money you have, right? Yeah, it's your first 1,000 to invest. I would say that take this money, invest in the stock market. Yeah, learn to invest in the stock market. Why would I say that? That is because I think stock market is one of the best places to really learn investment. Regardless of whether are you investing in unit trusts, are you investing in ETFs, or even if you are investing in businesses, right? Learning how to invest in stock market gives you a very good basic foundation, because ETFs is actually ultimately investing in business, right? Which is the stocks of different company. Unit trust is the same. Almost everything else is the same. Even if we are talking about bonds, right? Most of the time it's actually a bond of a corporation, which you also need to understand about the business. So it gives you a good basic to understand how the world works, how the money flows, right? And so investing the 1,000 ringgit into that, it's not just about the percentage, but rather it's about the part of you putting in that money, and because your money is there, so you are more willing to learn.
Yes.
You treat it more seriously, and you will grow in terms of knowledge. I think it's not so much of the 1,000 ringgit, it's rather the idea of growing in terms of knowledge and learning how to handle the emotion. Now, and again, why I say it's not because of the money, right? Because you think about it, the truth is, right, this 1,000 ringgit, if you put into crypto, you may earn even more if you get lucky, right?
True.
But in terms of crypto, the amount of knowledge that you learn is, I would say, is very different from stocks. Yeah, so crypto is a whole separate creature altogether. The knowledge in crypto is not so transferable, in my opinion. Yeah, it's much more basic economic supply and demand and a lot of punting. Yeah, and even if you talk about the basics of Bitcoin fundamental and all, many of those knowledge there doesn't transfer across to other fields in your life. For example, right, you're talking about 100% transparency, non-seizable by government, which is irrelevant to business. But business, on the other hand, when you learn about stock, it's 100% relevant. It is even relevant to someone who's working in an MNC and thinking about how to grow your career. Because when you learn how to analyze stock, when you put your money there, you understand how business works, and therefore it helps to grow your career as well when you talk to your boss. Yeah, that's my opinion. That's why that 1,000 ringgit is more about using it to learn about things and create more value for your life.
Yeah, I guess what you're trying to drive across here is that using that first 1,000 ringgit as sort of like a learning experience, right?
That's right.
As sort of like an opportunity to invest more in yourself. Because when you start to invest in risky assets such as equities, you don't just put it into ASB, because ASB, ASM, they've been generating positive returns, but the returns have been mediocre. But when you start to look at specific stocks, you have to analyze these companies, you have to look at their balance sheets, so on and so forth. And like what you said just now, it really gives you a good idea on how to tell whether a company is good or bad. And at the end of the day, if an investor, especially for a new investor, if they learn how to do this, right, it will most certainly go a long way for their investing career, so to speak.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So we do have like a quick question from one of the people listening in right now. It says, my mom says to just park all my money and whatever earnings I have into ASB because it's safe. How should I convince her that it's okay to put my money in other baskets? Go ahead, Peter, take this.
If the fact that you said it means you're young, so you must remember, you must be young and dangerous. No, kidding.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah. But the truth is this, right? I always think that safe and danger or safe and risky is all about perspective. Right? I always give this example. I've met people who spend 4 million ringgit buying a land because they are going to use it to build a 20 million warehouse for their business. And when I ask them, isn't that risky? They tell me it's not risky. But when I tell them, why not you put 200,000 ringgit in stocks, they tell me very risky. You get what I mean? Because he understands his business very well. When he knows his business, it's not that risky. But when he doesn't understand stocks, then it becomes risky suddenly. Same as today, right? In my team, we have 16 people. Our monthly expenses go sky high. In a lot of people's eye, it's risky. But in my eye, it's not risky because I understand my business. So I would say that in order for you to convince her, first, you need to understand how to invest first. If you yourself don't even understand how to invest, there's no point convincing her. Number two, if you're talking about then you do not have money to put it into the stock market. Now, I think the fact that you're asking this question again, I hope you're probably already working. If let's say the money comes from your mom, then I think you should listen to her because it's not your money. But if let's say you have worked and then it's your own money, my personal belief is you get to decide. I'm pretty sure when you went to clubbing or you went out for a trip with your friends, you would have spent money, maybe 300, 400, maybe even 500, maybe 1,000, right? Or you bought yourself that nice watch or whatever, like Nintendo Switch, whatever you want to buy. Yeah. Those kind of amount is more than enough for you to start investing already. Yeah. So the fact that if you need to ask someone's permission to actually invest, this question should only exist, number one, if you're a student. Yeah. Number two is actually you yourself also unsure whether you want to invest. Yeah. So really it's not about other people, but about yourself. Yeah. So learn how to invest, then you can figure it out.
Yeah, I think perhaps the question is trying to convince the mom that to ask her to probably diversify into other baskets rather than just putting in ASB. In this case, what do you think?
My personal thought is that there's no point convincing other people. Yeah. Let me share with you one very simple thing, right? Okay, my mom also invests in FD, right? And even if you convince her, doesn't mean that she'll likely tell you this one thing. Oh, then you help me invest, and then what if you lose money? And then she'll feel like, hey, you lost my money. I don't trust you anymore. Which I've heard many cases like that. Yeah.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I don't really like that. Usually, even if I convince them, I tell them you go and invest yourself, nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
Yeah, and another thing is this, right? The other day I met someone. This person is a very famous cryptocurrency investor in Malaysia, right? I will not mention a name, but it's big, right? Big. Okay. So this person said this one thing, right? Okay, I'll just say it's CoinGecko boss. Okay, CoinGecko boss.
Okay.
I asked the person this thing. I say we are talking about crypto lah. Then he said this one thing. Actually, in the early days, right, he used to tell people how good is cryptocurrency, Bitcoin and everything all, And when the first time Bitcoin crashed, right, a lot of people blame him. Yeah. And the time you are still talking about Bitcoin in 3 digits, right? 3 digits. So it's within the hundreds. And after that, he said, it's pointless to tell people anymore. Ever since that time, a lot of people blame him. He stopped telling people about cryptocurrency, why you should invest. He just kept quiet. When people ask him questions, he answered, but he don't try to convince. If you want, you invest. You don't want, he don't. He don't force you. He don't try to convince you. Because I think trying to convince someone to invest in something, I'll be honest, it is one of the most annoying things. I mean, even for you yourself, right, Shinji?
Yeah.
One of the reasons why we don't tell people what's a good stock to buy, not just because it's regulated or not, but because if we get it right, you won't thank us. But if we get it wrong, you will hate us.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah, there's no upside, no, there's only downside. So that's why, in my opinion, is no need lah. Yeah. So even when I do live, right, I tell y'all, or I do video, I tell y'all. But if you meet me face to face, I won't spend the extra effort to keep telling you lah, because
that's so true.
Yeah, it's a bit of not a good investment.
An investment that doesn't have very healthy returns, is what we
That's right. Only downside, no upside.
Okay. So let's move on. Okay, I think this question is also pretty interesting. What's a simple tip for people to save more? What's something that the followers here today that are listening that they can change in their savings habits or saving strategy, tiny one, that can help them save more? What do you think?
I think tiny one, number one is just cut all the unnecessary thing. Okay. I would love to have a straightforward answer to this. But my personal opinion is there's only two ways to save for. And there's no straightforward answer, the truth is. Because the first one is you need to understand what makes you happy. What do I mean by that, right?
Wow.
I think we have been spending a lot of time. People are very weird. We spend money to impress people that we don't like. We spend money to buy things we don't care to impress people that we don't care. You get what I mean?
That's true.
Like, especially with the age of social media, right? We all try to look good.
Yeah.
So it requires you to sit down and really ask yourself what really matters. Like I'll give you an example, right? I play golf and I do jiu-jitsu. And I can tell you that I probably spend about 4 figures every month doing sports. Yeah. But I don't buy a nice car. I just drive an Activa. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I like watch, so I have this one nice watch right now. But I don't wear any other branded. Yeah. So I know what matters to me, what doesn't matter. Right? That's the one thing. So and you can't just get everything that you like lah. I'll just put it that way lah. But more importantly is this. I wouldn't have the privilege to say all these things if I didn't know how to earn money. So I would say that the most sustainable way to actually save is not to think about save first. It's to think about how to earn. Yeah, because think about it, right? Why do you want to penny pinch and save money? You want to live a good life. But what if the amount that you save doesn't help you to live a good life? Yeah, because I've been poor before. My family have been really poor before, like really poor. So even if you save 10 bucks, 20 bucks, it honestly, it builds a habit, but it doesn't change your life, right? But what changed my life was the idea that let's think about how to earn more. And that became my obsession and focus. And I think because I learned that ability to earn more, I've gotten myself into trouble over the years. But because of my ability to earn, I also got out of those troubles quite easily. I mean, you think about it, right? Why those we say fu tai, like, which is those who are born with a silver spoon? Why they are more willing to start their own business? Why they seem like they can spend, and then they tell you some story where they fail, at the end of the day they can still start something great. It's because they have the privilege to fall back on something. Their parents are already earning very well, and it gives them that cushion, right? And they can fail 3 venture and the 3rd venture do well. So the same thing here, right? You may not have a rich family, then you need to think to yourself, how can I make more money?
Increasing income.
Yes, increasing income is key. So unfortunately, there's really no straightforward answer. I think the traditional straightforward answer, like sitting down, budgeting, cut down unnecessary expenses, let's be honest, you don't need to stay alive to know that. You probably Google, you got the same answer everywhere.
Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes to this thing, my opinion, I entirely agree with you. The first priority, if you want to save more, is to look for ways to increase your income, because expenses have a downside limit. You can only cut a certain amount of expenses until you start eating Maggie every day, and then you ask yourself, where do we go from here? Do I stop eating Maggie at all, or whatsoever?
That's right. That's right. That's not life, right?
It's not life at all.
End up living like that.
So increasing income. Okay, let's talk about increasing income. Okay, because it's easier to say one thing. It's easier to say, oh, you got to increase your income. But let's at least give the followers something. What ways are there to increase income? Are we talking about like job hopping? Are we talking about like, starting a business that you always want to start? Or are we talking about like exploring different opportunities, so on and so forth? What do you think?
Okay, when it comes to earning extra money, right, this is what I think. A lot of people will be thinking about starting your own business. I used to think starting your own business is for everyone, but I realized that starting your own business is also not for everyone. But can anyone learn the skill set to do that? You can. But just that for some people it's going to be tougher, some people it's going to be easier. Some people are more naturally inclined towards it, some people are less. Okay. Now, my personal belief, the first thing you want to think about increasing your income, okay, I'm not talking about like go out and do Grab, those kind of stuff. Okay. Those are pretty easy. Again, you don't need someone to tell you that. You kind of know. If you need me to say to you, go and do Grab, yeah, okay, just go and do Grab lah. You got an answer, right? Maybe you got side hustle. Let's say you already know how to build website, they build website, those kind of things. Okay, I can tell you all that. Pretty much, you don't really need me to tell you how to do it lah. Okay, so what I'm gonna say is to make sustainably good income. Okay, not 1 month off, 2 months off. Is sustainably good. So the key here is number one, you need to ask yourself, what is your strength and weakness? After you ask yourself that, right, go and ask all your friends. See whether they got mismatch or not. Why? It's real one. Sometimes we think we are very good at one thing, but when you ask your friend, you realize you're actually not that good at that thing. Yeah.
Like a perspective,
yes.
At least have a perspective.
The perspective. Then, why is that important? Because that's the first thing that you want to work on, right? You want to work on an alignment.
Yes.
Have you heard of these things? Have you heard of these things, right? Where you are successful when people hear of your name and know what you do even before they meet you? Yeah.
Oh, I've heard of something like this before. Yeah, somewhere along the line.
Something in that similar tone, right? Like if someone already heard about your name, they know what you're good at even before they meet you, you're considered quite successful, right? To a certain extent, right? Maybe not very rich, but successful enough. The key here is this. What you're good at and what's communicated out to the world is aligned, okay? Like when people meet me, they know what am I good at. People hear your name, they roughly know what you're good at. And you think about it, how do you end up, when do you spend money? You spend money on services or on products that you know is good for you. They are good at that skill or they are good at the thing and you needed that service. Now,
that's right.
So by you asking yourself, what are you good at? And asking people, what do they think you're good at? What will happen is, you know exactly whether are you aligning and leveraging on your strength to work on something. Now, if it's not, then you need to ask yourself first, hey, why do I think I'm good at this, but other people don't know I'm good at this? Okay. Then you ask yourself the next thing. If let's say people do not know you're good at this, then perhaps that's where the gap is. So if it's in office, maybe you think you're very good in handling projects, but your friend don't think so. Then you may want to look for opportunities to try to handle project and get feedback. You may end up finding yourself really suck at it, or you may find yourself actually you are rather good at it, and then you promote yourself that you're good at that. So people who are doing well and can and generally earn more, right? Like I've said, they are good at something and they promote themselves to be good at that thing, whether you like it or not. Yeah, that's just how it works, right? So with that, you are able to gain more opportunity in career to get a promotion. But if you don't, you also have a chance to ask yourself this question. Maybe that service or that particular thing that I do can turn into a side hustle or turn into a business in itself. Like a lot of people ask me, what am I good at, right? Actually, what am I good at is not money.
Managing business.
What am I good at is actually, number one, I'm able to simplify things to help people to understand. Does it mean I'm very good in money? I already told you guys, right? When I started Mr. Money, I got no money. And I was in debt, bro. Yeah. I understand how money works because that was part of my career. I was doing financial for quite a long time. But does it mean that I'm very good financial habit? No lah, right? I'm very good at explaining it. Yeah. And definitely along the way, I learned together. And then now I'm better at managing money, obviously. But one thing I'm good at is I'm good at managing business as well. Yeah. But was it something that I'm naturally already good at? No. I've been managing business for quite long already until today, and I learned along the way. Yeah. So your skill set will branch out, but do remember this one thing, like I say, ask yourself, what are you good at, and what do people know about you? Do people know what you are good at? Yeah. Is that aligned? Yeah. So that's the sustainable way, in my opinion.
And if that's aligned, then the key is to focus on your strengths, right? To keep learning on how to further build your strength and to at the end of the day, try and monetize your talents, basically.
That's right.
Either have your yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I'll add on this thing, right? A lot of
Sure.
people talk about Warren Buffett as one of the best investors in the world, right? It's true, it's
Yeah.
true, right? It's true. But you try to really read his story, he's actually a very good businessman. How do you think he has the money to keep investing? It's because people keep giving him money. Yeah. He's known to be good at that, and people give him money. Therefore, he can average down, and he can keep accumulating, he can keep holding. And when people tell him why you make that investment, it suck. Can you faster give me money? You know what he do? He kick the people out. He tell them, then you don't invest the money anymore in my fund. He just kick them out. So no one dare to say anything from then on. Why do you think ETF is a very good, ETF managers are so good? Because the money that's flowing in on a monthly basis is so much. If they think the company is good, they will just average down lah. So get the point, right? The ability to make money trumps your ability to invest.
Exactly. Okay. And it's sort of like a feedback loop also, right? Because once you start to build on your strength, then either you have more attention, people start to pay you more, and then you'll be more inclined to do better, right? Because now you have a bigger responsibility, so on and so forth. I think that is how it has roughly worked for Mr. Money TV as well, right? When you start to see the followers come in, when you start to see the money come in, you go like, hey, we got to be serious. We got to really learn how to master our strengths, keep working on our strengths. So that's basically it, isn't it? When it comes to maximizing or increasing income.
Yeah. Actually, that's pretty much about it. You just keep getting better at what you are good at. Yeah, and then what you are not good at, you sub it out. So, like that's why I have a team. Things I'm not good at, I hire people and get it done for me, or either I have partners, co-founders and all to manage it.
Yeah. We have a comment from Nox Lumos. My solution is to work in Singapore. Now can save a solid 3K per month. Classic Malaysian thing right there. That's like
yes. That's very true. That's very true.
That's true. I think that's a form of increasing income also, right? Because you work at a place that pays you a higher salary, right? A better currency.
That's
that
true.
Case is one of the more straightforward ways to increase your income, right?
That's very true. That's very true. Yeah, I think there are also some people who are actually dabbling in the Web3 services, and they get paid in USD. So fantastic as well, right?
Yeah. So next one is from Ashraf Mohsin. How did you guys keep motivated? Oh, this is a good question. Peter, go ahead. What's your motivation here? How do you manage to sustain Mr. Money TV? How come it's not like other channels that just start for a few months and after that burn out, then they completely leave the company or close the company?
I will. Anyone who's thinking about that, right, I would suggest you read this book called Good to Great. If you ever think about like improving yourself, right? But to say one thing that how it sustained me is definitely the cliche one is like, my family is understanding, my colleagues, my partners are awesome people, but I mean there's a lot of hard times. So the truth is how I think this can go on is because I'm actually crazily obsessed. Yeah, I am obsessed with this idea that I can change the world. Yeah, not so much of time, but like I think if we do it right, we can really change the world. We can help people to really live a better life. So why I can kind of confirm it is because time and time again, when there were people who come and offer us or either even suggest to us on buying over the business or stuff like that, we are looking at significant amount of money in terms of proportion, right? And I can just chill for the rest of my life. But time to time, me and my partners, my co-founders, we all sit together and then we ask ourselves, like, do we take the money and just retire? And then we just look at each other and say, you know what? Let's keep going.
Yeah.
I think that we will make it even bigger. This feels like there's unfinished business. Then the only thing we tell each other is that then we make sure that we can build the business bigger than those of first one. Yeah. So I think it's it's just not logical lah.
It's an
I mean, if I was to count the money,
obsession. Obsession. I think I would say it as an obsession, right?
yeah,
Right.
it is.
Once you have the obsession or the passion to run something, to do something, then you will keep going. You won't even think of retirement, right?
Yeah.
Even during your retirement age, you will still continue doing it, which is probably one of the biggest drivers of perhaps income, right? Because once you're very motivated, you're very inclined to improve your business even more, so on and so forth from there.
Yeah. I want to highlight though that it doesn't mean that we are very good people. It's just we are a bit crazy. That's all. Yeah. There's nothing great about this. Like oh, we are very optimistic. No. Ultimately, I still want to make money, right? It's just
everybody
it's
needs
just
to
that we are a
be,
bit
right?
crazy, lah. Yeah. That's all. Yeah.
Okay. We got another question from the community. Kenneth, besides EPF, is there any other fund investment that Malaysian can park for long term right now? Ooh, skirting to the realms of financial advice, but what do you think, Peter?
I think there are plenty of it.
Yeah.
It all comes down to what you're looking at, right? From the lowest risk, there is like also ASB.
ASM,
I think if you're non-boomy, you can look at ASM.
Yeah.
For people who are inclined to a little bit more risk, there's always ETFs. There's always unit trust. There's even like portfolio of ETFs like robo advisors, kind, right? Like Micro, Stashaway, all these kind of things. So it comes out to yourself. So the question is that you have to ask yourself, when you say, aside from EPF, I think the chances is you are thinking to yourself, is there anywhere that I can just leave my money there and don't bother lah? If that's what you want, then my opinion is very simple. EPF is probably your safest route. Because if you don't want to be looking at it, then basically EPF is probably your safest route lah.
Are you voluntarily contributing to EPF every month or so? What do you think about parking your money there, even when you are far away from retirement, let's say 20 or 30 years?
I do pay EPF because I'm an employee of my company.
Right,
my bonus, everything all goes to EPF, a big significant portion. I think it's a good thing, simply because a lot of people will say this one thing, right? Maybe if you invest yourself, you will make more. I agree. Yeah. But I'm also very aware that humans are not reliable. What do I mean by that? If today I set aside 20% of my money that's supposed to be going into EPF, now I take it out and I say I'm going to invest myself. The first risk is suddenly I got something to spend on. I may not invest that money entirely. I may save 5%, 2%, 3%. That's number one, right? It's not about discipline or not. Maybe it's my child want to go for certain things and so on. Right? My child need to go for new school semester, whatnot. Sure will learn. Sure got stuff like that. Now, the next thing is this. I can say I'm going to set it aside to invest. Let's say whether is it in Bitcoin, in stock, in whatever. Okay. Now, can I guarantee that I will not take out in the next 5 years? I can't.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I
may halfway through look at the market and maybe that day suddenly I don't know what got into my mind. I FOMO. Then I take the money and speculate.
That's true.
So my point is this: the reason I contribute to EPF is to protect my money from myself. I think I am my money's biggest enemy. That's the truth, right? I think I'm my money's best friend. I'm also my own money's biggest enemy. So I want to protect my downside. So therefore, I lock my money there and I don't touch.
Okay, that's actually a fantastic answer, because when it comes to discipline, right, not everybody will have this discipline to perhaps, like, if your goal is to invest in this US stock market, are you sure you can stay it for the next 5 years? What happens if the US goes through a recession, the entire market drops by 20, 30, or even 40%? In that case, are you sure that you will not, panic sell or perhaps whatsoever? In this case, your answer really makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the next one, which is from Brian. Hey, Brian, welcome. What do you guys think about the price point of Malaysian bank stocks right now? Ooh, okay, very interesting. Thinking about dollar cost averaging soon. Okay, first I'm going to ask you, Peter, do you invest in Malaysian banks or not? Specifically, let's go with the big three, like Maybank, Polybank, CIMB. Do you have any exposure in them?
Uh,
And in general, what do you think about them?
Lately, no exposure in them. Yeah. At one point I did, but lately no. Lately a lot of my investment is in elsewhere. Yeah.
Okay,
So yeah. But this is what I want to say, right? If you're thinking about DCAing, you shouldn't be asking this question. The whole point of DCA is regardless of whatever price, you dollar cost average, which means
so
whether the price is good, price is bad, you invest.
So
now, the question is of a speculative in nature, which means that you're trying to predict where it's the lowest to get the best value and maybe later sell at the higher price. Okay, maybe I'm making an assumption of the selling part, but at least you're trying to go for the lowest price. Now, dollar cost averaging don't do that. Yeah.
Okay.
The strategy of dollar cost averaging is you just buy every month or every week or every quarter, whatever not, regardless of price.
Right.
Yeah. The key is to diversify time, right? Now, so the nature of the question, it means that you're trying to apply a strategy that looks for stability by using a speculative method. So you will never have the answer lah. Yeah, it's better off that you just cut half the question, like is it a good time to buy stock now? Yeah. Then
okay.
Yeah, or either
in that case, is it a good time to buy stock right now? Let's go with that question.
Bank stock.
What do you think? Obviously, we don't want to directly advise the followers here because we don't want to provide any financial advice. Markets can change very quickly, but based on what you're looking at right now, what is your opinion on where stocks have gone, and would you personally enter if you're looking for a price point to enter?
I think I'll give you my perspective. Recently, I've been looking at the overall markets, comparing to every different asset. Then I won't, simply because I believe there are other assets that are making me more money at this point. Yeah, right. If I look at the broader perspective from bonds all the way to crypto lah. Let me just put it this way lah, right? Okay. Yeah, if I'm looking at the whole universe of investing, then it's not in my number one list. Yeah, I can tell you that. But in terms of you're looking at the asset itself, comparing it within the sector itself, prices has gone up. Let me just put it this way. So usually what goes up will come down lah. Yeah. Yeah. What goes down will go up lah. Yeah. So put it this way lah. Yeah. Bank stock is generally quite safe. I would play the dollar cost averaging game, which is just don't bother every month. Just put in money if I really want to invest in bank stock. Yeah.
Now speaking of bank stocks, I think there are a few fun facts that the audience here should know. EPF, their largest investments for the local stock market is in Maybank, Public Bank, RHB, and CIMB. The other one, which is not a bank stock, is Tenaga Nasional. So you already sort of have an idea what is EPF's investing strategy when it comes to the Malaysian market. In fact, funds that we are familiar with, those very stable funds, ASB, ASM, right? Except ASB DIDIC, I think ASB2, their largest holding is in Maybank. You can read all of their annual reports, all of their largest holding is in Maybank. ASB is actually the single largest holder of Maybank. They hold like a whopping 33% stake. So I'm not trying to signal anyone here, but like what Peter said, if you're looking for the dollar cost averaging, if you're looking for stability, you want to collect 6 to 7% dividends every year, perhaps bank stocks could be a good diversification alternative for your portfolio. Right.
Yeah, I think I remember the last time I held Maybank stock, I got it was about like $7 or something at that time. Yeah, but I mean, after I sell already lah. But as far as I'm concerned, it's always up and down, and you don't be too obsessed about the price. Don't be too obsessed about the price. Maybank stocks, is a very good dividend stock. I'll just put it that way, right? Yeah. So if you really want it dollar cost averaging, if you have done it for the last 2-3 years, you will reap the benefit. The most dangerous thing is that you do it for a few months, then you stop, then you start speculating again, then you stop, then you speculate. That will be the worst thing to happen lah. So just persist on the same strategy. After 2-3 years, you will see the rewards.
Another strategy that I've learned from one of the financial planners, Han Liu, he's the founder of Ringgit Plus. He told me that he doesn't really look at prices of any assets anymore. And I find this quite interesting. I want your thoughts on this also, Peter. So let's say your goal, you basically set a goal for each asset. Okay, let's say your goal is to have maybe 20% Maybank stock. This is just an example, guys. 20% Maybank stock, 20% you invest in the US market. The remaining 40% you invest in safe assets such as fixed deposits, etc. Then the leftover percentages, maybe you dabble a bit into crypto, so on and so forth. And the question now becomes whether you are underexposed or overexposed. So if right now you don't have any Maybank shares where your goal in your portfolio is to have 20%, then the obvious answer is to enter to a percentage that probably is 50%, maybe 10%, you enter 10%, and then see where the market goes. If the market continues to rally upwards, then it's good for you. At least you have exposure already. If the market goes downwards, let's say Maybank continues to drops to about 8% of your portfolio, then it's a signal for you to acquire more of it in order to rebalance your portfolio. So what do you think about this strategy, apart from the standard dollar cost averaging?
Okay. I'll also be practical. I think generally, if you're talking about the context of few 100,000, that is definitely a good strategy to go for. But if let's say, if we are going to put it within the context of today's title, then we are talking about only a few thousand ringgit, right? Let's say 1,000 ringgit, right? The truth is, if you have 1,000 ringgit, you can forget about diversification. This is not an advice. It's just my own. No, I'm just grumbling. My own entertainment. Later people say I give advice, right? I won't bother. The reason being is because 1,000 ringgit, honestly, there's not much you can do. Not much at all, right? And the irony about things is, right, diversification is a great strategy when you have the ability to diverse. But when you have a very small portfolio, you will find it rather hard to diverse. Giving you an example, Warren Buffett's stock portfolio in the early days, especially, it wasn't very diverse. It was very concentrated. And you're talking about a huge amount in millions and millions. And you're talking about a handful of stocks, like probably 2 hands can count finish, right? Now, so you get the idea, right? And if let's say you're talking about 10,000, 15,000, 5,000, it's also hard to diverse too much. So your diversification needs to be very well calculated. Maybe just 2 or 3 stocks. Simply because you think about it, right? If you're gonna diverse anything more than, if you're 10K, you're gonna diverse anything more than 10 stock, right? My opinion, just buy ETF. Just buy ETF. Don't need to think anything. If not, then just pick out the three or 5 company that you think is the best and put your money inside. Or either your diversification will be in the sense where, again, it's a talk nonsense. Just take me as talk nonsense, right? I don't want to get myself into trouble. Let's say if you're picking 5 stocks, maybe you may say these 3 are growth oriented, these 2, then remaining 2 is dividend oriented. Or you're gonna say that out of these 5 stocks, I'm gonna pick 2 from the tech industry, I'm gonna pick 2 from banking, and I'm gonna pick 1 that focuses on infrastructure. You get what I mean, right? So diversification of too much of it, sometimes, to be honest, when you only have a few thousand ringgit, it's not gonna do you good lah. So if you want anything more, then just go for ETF or either robo advisor, which plays because like whatever Han say, right, it's very true. That's how robo-advisor piece up their whole funds, right? Yeah, there's the cash portion, there's the S&P portion, there's the real estate portion like that. But you can do it all within 100 ringgit, the kind of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. I think diversification, especially when you have very little capital, will spread your investments very thin. And at the end of the day, they don't really appreciate on themselves, right? You might as well start with what you want to really work on first, and then like what you said, concentrate, start to build the knowledge. When your capital starts to get bigger, then only you consider diversing into perhaps other industries or other types of assets.
That's right. Yeah.
So we have also another question from Kaleidoscope. Wow, nice username.
Oh, nice name.
Can you give an example of an ETF in Malaysia? Can we do that, Peter?
I think, put it this way, there's we can just mention that there's the FTSE, right? Yeah, the Malaysian FTSE, the KLSE 30, right? Yeah, I mean KLCI, KLCI index,
Okay.
but not many Malaysians invest in it. Actually, we do have quite many ETFs, but ETF is not very popular in Malaysia. Yeah, and
Malaysians don't really.
Yeah,
that's very true.
Yeah, and there's and because of a US ETF is easily available, most people do prefer to just invest in US ETF. Yeah.
Okay, then the next question also connects to this question, to the previous question just now. It's from Bla Ying Yi. Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly. Where do you guys invest in S&P 500 in Malaysia? Oh, take it, Peter.
For me, I just do it via StashAway or MyTeo. Yeah. And
not sponsored, we're not sponsored by the way.
We're not sponsored. Yeah. If your capital is small, that's where you can do it. But if let's say your capital is slightly bigger, I would consider I would suggest you all can actually take a look at the stockbrokers like say M Plus, or Mumu or whoever, right? Interactive Broker, just go and check it out. Then buy the ETF directly on the stock exchange also can. But the one will require higher amount of capital.
That's very true. So for me right now, how I'm investing in S&P ETFs is through Rakuten. I've registered with Rakuten 6 to 8 months ago. And then right now, there are so many other brokers, right? There's Momo, there's M Plus Global. I think one more is coming out soon also. It's called Weibo or something like that. You familiar with it?
Yes.
Yeah, so many exchanges coming out these days. So far, I think the most important thing when it comes to looking for platforms to invest in ETFs, right, is you got to check whether those platforms are regulated or not.
Yes.
Whether they are approved by the Securities Commission, or do they at least have acknowledgement from Bank Negara Malaysia or any authorities? Because at the end of the day, you don't want to invest in those money schemes like unfortunately, you're going to bring it up like quantum metal, right? All those. I honestly think that those names that end with FX they are a bit shady. I don't know. Okay, I may be wrong. They are a tiny bit shady So it doesn't just talk about the FX name. Okay, most importantly is you got to see whether the Securities Commission is actually regulating it or not. So you guys can easily check it. Just go to the SC website, search for that company, right? And you'll be able to find a match to see whether the company is regulated.
That's right. All these FX, you all better be careful of it. Okay.
Okay, so another follow-up question is, which one provides the lesser service charge? Well, based on the comparisons that we've done so far, and we are doing a lot of comparisons at the Futurists. I'm sure, Peter, you have also done the comparisons before. Unsponsored, we're not sponsored. Lowest in the market right now, I think it's Momo, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Am I right on this?
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Chances are, yes. Because from the last I know also, it's still Momo. Lowest price is them.
Another question from Ikmal. Opinions about cryptocurrency. Very broad question. Go ahead.
I think it's something that you all have to learn to know, learn to understand it. I think it's an asset that's in its early stages of maturity. Yeah, and if you find the right asset within, it may present you with high return opportunities. Yeah, potentially, right? But you need to be very careful because it is very unconventional. It is not the normal kind of asset. Slightly more complicated, but definitely today is not as complicated as last time. Now, I'm not talking about trading. I'm talking about long-term holdings, right? Which refer to a lot of people, quite a few people also ask trading, right? You have to understand the difference between trading and investing. Trading is all about speculating prices. It doesn't matter whether you're investing in cryptocurrency or is it cow or is it beans or is it coffee. It's just trading. You're just looking at prices, right? You're taking advantage of if the price is low, you sell high, and then you sell low, that kind of stuff, right? So that's the whole idea behind trading. Don't need to talk about fundamental. But if you're talking about long-term keepsake and accumulation, cryptocurrency provides a very interesting perspective because, like I say, any asset in its early stage provides huge potential if you can pick the right one. Yeah. And I am rather confident. So for those of you who are wondering why I don't really answer too many stock questions too specific, I personally am quite involved in the cryptocurrency investment at this point now. I don't promote it. Yeah. It's just that that's my own holding. Yeah. I don't go and like promote, like, oh, invest in crypto. No, I don't do that. It's just, if you ask me, that's an area that I myself is quite invested.
Yeah. You believe that this sector itself has more opportunity to grow in the future, basically?
Yes, but it is risky and very risky, so I don't really promote it online.
Yeah. Because if you take a look at the chart of Bitcoin, within a few months, it can drop 60 to 70%, just like the bear market in 2022 to 2023. And then suddenly from 2023 to 2024, it came back up to make a new all-time high.
That's right.
Really just shows how crazily volatile this asset is. So for those of you guys who are ever considering crypto, make sure you do a risk analysis on yourself. That's what I would say, right? And enter it with care. Because if you don't play the right things, if you don't basically, I would say, just do your research, right, then it's a one-way trip to blow your entire account. So that's what we'll probably say. Yeah, I guess. Okay, next one. This one is from Navish. Assuming I reside in Malaysia for the rest of my life, okay, is it advisable to buy a property or rent a property for daily living? What are the pros and cons? Ooh. Well, you are the older guy here. You already have a family, so I'll let you take this question, Peter.
If you're planning to stay for long term and you're just gonna be around, I think buying a property, if you can afford it, is not bad. Just go ahead. But if let's say you're thinking about investing in a property, there's a whole different story altogether. Now, pros and cons of renting and buying, obviously, is rent, eventually prices could go up. Now, if you're looking at the city center area, then definitely the prices could go up. But if you're looking at outskirt area, chances are it may or may not. It's just a 50-50 game, right? Why do I say so? Let's acknowledge the fact that Malaysia population is going down, and as days pass, urbanization rate is increasing, so people are moving to urban. Urban space is crowded, so therefore there are more demand. But if you're talking about outskirts, there's plenty of land, right? And do acknowledge also this fact that if you're talking about, unless your location provide a very unique set of qualities like Bangsa South, right? Or Subang Jaya, that area, right? Generally, you have to understand that condominiums also become old. And at the moment it's old, and nearby, if there's land, then someone built a new condo, then the prices may not catch up as fast as the newer ones. Now, So you need to be very careful of the location. Yeah. Be very, very careful of the location. So the key is this. There are pros and cons, but my personal thought is that the pros and cons could be quite related to personal liking. Yeah. Like for example, some people just feel that I rent, at least I can move in and out quite easily. I can downgrade, upgrade quite easily. Yeah. So that kind of pros and cons. Yeah. So
yeah. Yeah, but when you touch on that point, right, it sort of like hit the nail on the head, because renting, it's pretty convenient. You only sign like a 1-year tenure or something like that, right? Then after that, you can decide to move out. You get back your deposits. Everything is okay. You can move to a new apartment. So if you are not looking to settle down, okay, then perhaps renting might be a good strategy. At least you can explore more places. And when you finally decided to say, hey, maybe I want to start a family, get married, so on and so forth, then that could be perhaps a good time to consider buying a property. Am I right to say this?
yeah.
Am I right to say
Yeah.
this?
I do own quite a couple of properties where I rent out. I have also a unit in Mont Kiara, right? Like lately I'm thinking about buying a property, but more towards because it's for my family. Like maybe if I'm much richer now, I'll just buy a land and build a house, that kind of thing. Yeah. But I've met people who are earning millions and they're renting houses. Yeah. I met a couple of guys like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Does investing in gold in large sum would be a good strategy in saving money for long term? Okay.
Okay, this is interesting.
Honestly, I'm not a big fan of gold.
Okay.
I'm not a big fan.
Getting interesting.
Yes.
Getting interesting.
I
Okay.
think it's good to invest a little bit. And I'm not a big fan of holding gold like for long term.
For huge sums, like talking about huge sums.
Yep. I'm not. Yeah. Because for a few reasons. I think gold is a good wealth preservation tool. What do I mean by that? Is that if all hell break loose, the world go to shit, then gold is a fantastic thing, right? Like amazing. Yeah. Number one, I'm positive that the world will not go all hell break loose, zombie attack, that kind of thing. That's number one. And I've always emphasized the fact that if all hell break loose and then zombie attack, I think having gold will not be my number one priority, but having a gun or having a knife will be my number one priority, right?
Okay.
Why? Because if someone were to rob me and his body has gold, I'd probably be able to protect myself and also rob back the fella. Yeah, you get the point, right? You get the point.
Okay.
No. And food will be more important in those kind of situations, not gold, once again, right? So I don't really see how gold can play a role unless I'm very, very, very rich. Okay? Means that, let's say I'm Elon Musk rich. That's a different story. Because now I have access to certain things, and right before the world collapsed, there's a certain amount of gold for me to exchange for services, right? Chances are priority goes to these people. And I'm definitely not in that level. Yeah. So I won't go for that. Now, if you're talking about gold as a wealth preservation tool at our level, I don't quite 100% agree. I will just put a little bit, like maybe 2%, 3%, but I won't go more because I'm at that age where I need to accumulate to build my wealth, not so much to preserve my wealth. And therefore, because of that, there are other tools that can earn me more money than gold. Yeah. So that's
so true.
My opinion.
Yeah. No, I think I stand by you on this. My perspective on gold is the same. Not to say that I'm a big fan of gold, not to say I'm not a fan of it. It's always good to own a scarce asset because gold is limited supply. It's very hard to mine. There's a bit of scarcity in there as well. And like what you said, when the world goes to shambles, right? If you were to go to a war, just like the unfortunate conflict in the Middle East, you really see gold prices spike up, right? So in this case, it would make sense for you to at least diversify into it a bit. But that's if your capital is significant. If it's like 1,000 ringgit or 500 ringgit, then maybe that should not be your priority right now, right? But if you're talking like your portfolio is 50,000, 100,000 ringgit, gold could be another avenue for you to diversify. And generally, from what I've read online, a lot of financial articles, in fact, financial experts, they don't recommend holding more than 5 to 10%. Yeah, because again, like what you covered just now, there's more better opportunities, assets that have better returns elsewhere. Right?
That's right.
So we leave it there.
Yeah.
We'll leave it there.
Your choice, your choice.
Your choice.
Yeah,
We'll leave it there. Okay. So I think digital banks is pretty interesting. There are a few people asking about digital banks right now. Digital banks quite hot recently. What are your thoughts? Peter, go ahead first. There's GXBank, there's Rize, there's Boost, there's AEON Bank.
Yeah,
what do you think? What do you think?
Just another bank. I'll be honest, right? Like let's put it this way, right? I work with them, and stuff like that. Okay, the beauty of it is the fact that it's 100% online, right? At your perspective, when you're sitting as an audience, as a user of the bank, does it make, let's be honest, is it that different in terms of experience?
More convenient.
Not that, right? Yeah.
More convenient. That's what I was saying.
I mean, like their user interface is better. So it's all about the best product wins, right? Does it matter to you whether is it digital or non-digital? Honestly, we don't really bother as a user. All I care is it convenient for me? No. So the benefit of a digital bank, the only outward thing that you will ultimately see is maybe it's more convenient for you to get a loan. It's more easier for you to arrange your finances, and it's more easier for you to arrange your finances in the sense where because of their native ability on digital, they may end up collaborating with other platforms to gather your digital credit score rather than the traditional credit score. Okay. So what does it mean? It makes it easier for you to get loan. See, ultimately, it's still about easier to get loan, right? There's the idea also that if, let's say, we are going to have open banking, then will they be able to create interesting, innovative product? So open banking is the concept of all the banks will allow all the players to release data. Means as like, for example, if let's say I can tell Maybank release my data to platform A because I'm using certain tools, which now is not available. So, like I say, all these are geeky stuff. It doesn't really affect you. The current thing that affects you is they are all trying to gain market share, so they are throwing higher interest rate. So that's the good deal, Yeah. Aside from that, you will only be able to see the good deal later, Is it going to change the industry? Yes, but the question is, are you sitting from a consumer perspective, or you are looking at the industry player perspective? Yeah.
So do you actually dabble with any of these digital banks? Did you sign up for them, like any of the four?
Oh yes, I'm a quite regular user of GXBank. Yeah. I've been
Not sponsored, guys. By the way.
Yeah, not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
Yeah.
Not sponsored. Okay.
Not sponsored. I use GXBank quite a bit simply because the 1% cashback from the debit card, Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about these banks, because they do have quite a few enticing offers that some of the users may be confused about. So GXBank, you mentioned about a 1% cashback is on most spending, right, with the debit card. I think as long as you spend it, then you get the cashback the next day. Not mistaken.
Yes. Daily cashback.
And then within the account, they'll also give you 3%. They'll pay you out every day also without any maximum balance. But what makes GXBank not very attractive is that it's not Sharia compliant. So for those Muslims listening in, perhaps that's what you might want to take note. The other alternative will be AEON Bank. That's the recent competitor that's just surfaced. Actually, AEON Bank's cashback, I calculated this, pretty interesting. It's 1.5%. It's slightly higher compared to GXBank, and the earnings rate, at least from now until the 31st of August, is 3.88%. then there's Rize, then there's also Boost. Okay, they're offering decent earnings rate also. And like what you said just now, they're probably just trying to run all these promotions to gain market share.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but
enjoy the moment, man. Earn some interest. Yeah.
enjoy the moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's your thoughts, basically. If I can summarize your thoughts on digital banks, it's just to enjoy the moment, make the most out of it, right? Am I right to say that?
Yes. Okay, so I think after this live, right, you kind of realize that I'm a little bit not like the standard traditional like personal finance guy, right? Where every single thing I'll like go and look at it, scrutinize, right? I don't do that because I think we should spend our energy on what matters.
Yes.
Yeah, not on things that doesn't really matter. I'll put it this way. Why I don't talk about 1%, 1.5? 1.5 and 1% is 0.5% difference. Unless you're putting 10 million, right? That 0.5 won't help you. Yeah. So my opinion is, instead of spending time on that, why not spend time on things that really matters? Yeah. Just look at it one glance, ask yourself which one is the most convenient, use that, then focus on learning how to invest, learning how to make more money. Because those are the things that will change your life. The 0.5% won't change your life. That's why a lot of people, like when they meet me or when they talk to me, they always thought that I'm going to give them some very interesting facts about credit cards, whatnot. Honestly, I I got no opinion. Yeah, you like to use, you use. I think what's more important is learn how to make more money. That's the thing that's going to change your life. Yeah.
No surprises that your channel is called MrMoneyTV.
Yeah, you have a we meet up and we had a conversation, right?
Yeah, we had a conversation.
Like, I'm pretty much like that, Like
basically a businessman that is very forward thinking, which is why I decided to schedule a session with you here today for the followers to really pick and prod your brain.
Kenny, he asked, any advice for a late starter or people who are late to investing? How can one recover ourselves from the past financial stint and start his or her portfolio? Okay, depending on how late you are talking about, but I think there are two things. Number one thing is it's never too late to invest. You can start investing at 40 plus, 50 also is okay. Chances are you'll be richer, so therefore you have the kind of resources to invest. Now, what's the advice that I can give you? I would say is, again, learn how to invest first. Yeah, learn how to invest first. There's a huge difference between 3% a year versus 20% a year.
Very huge.
No. But 20% a year requires a lot more understanding in the asset you're investing, and then so that you are able to be emotionally stable to deal with it. Okay. So I would say that for someone who's coming in late in investing, most of the time investment cycles, right, is about 3 to 5 years. I think today it's even shorter sometimes, right? But generally, ups and downs is 3 to 5 years, right? You look at crypto, you look at stock, generally about that, right? Remember, just a year, nowadays seems to be even faster. Just a year plus ago, S&P was down. Now it's like so high, right?
Every day, all-time high, yeah. Now.
Correct, yeah. So if you're late to investing, say you're going to retire in 2 years' time, make sure you have enough to survive for that period. Because the worst thing to do in investment is you need to withdraw when your portfolio is losing money. That's the worst thing.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's so good.
So imagine if your portfolio is losing 50%, right? Then you have to withdraw 1,000 from your capital. Bro, that's not 1,000, bro. That's 1,500 and get withdrawal actually. Yeah. Right?
Exactly.
Effectively, it's gonna cut you, So you better make sure, right? If you're gonna invest late, you have that liquidity taken care of first. And make sure that liquidity that you are taking care of is for at least 2 years. Yeah. So 2 years of expenses taken care of. Remaining, because you are late, you may need to take a little bit more risk, but don't listen to me. Go and talk to a professional advisor. Yeah, and talk to a professional financial planner. Then you are able to give yourself that flexibility to plan. Yeah. So if you are early, congratulations. Please start investing early so you don't have to deal with this.
I think my take on this question is that, like you also, make sure you have a financial cushion first. At least 6 months of your expenses, so that you don't have to liquidate your investments early at a loss or at just a slight profit. And then at the end of the day, use that money for emergencies, right? Make sure you have a financial cushion. Make sure you also at least have insurance, right? Medical insurance, hospital bills these days, it's just sky high. So if you have like at least a medical insurance, there is a fallback in case of any unfortunate emergencies. Then the next thing is to, once you have these fundamentals sorted out, is to just get started, right? Because every single day that you delay is another additional day that you don't have the chance for your funds to compound. So yeah, it's sort of like your answer also, and I entirely agree with your take also.
Let's talk a little bit about BRICS. Huh? The core question here is actually, will USD continue its dominance? That's the key question.
Yeah.
Simple as that, right? I did an episode on this, and I talked about this with Ken Ming on REOK podcast. Yeah. My personal thought is, for Malaysia to join BRICS, no problem. The question is for what? What's the benefit, right? Now, will USD lose its dominance? Yes, but it's going to take a while, put it this way. It's just going to take a while. Now, number two, what's the benefit of us joining? Because BRICS basically is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and then South Africa, right? All these countries are all over the place. They're everywhere. It's a bit of a marriage of convenience. My personal thought is that I think ASEAN, Southeast Asia countries, have a more solid base of joining as a power. Now, reason being is, actually, China and India are not very good friends. They're actually not good friends. Yeah, they even almost gone to war with each other for like Himalaya, the area, right? Russia, it's for China to show that, like, hey, what if one day I were to invade Taiwan? How would the world react, right? Yeah. Now, either way, the world today is always talking about China plus one, which means they want to have China, but they want to have a security. And all this security are coming to Southeast Asia. And that's why Malaysia, Singapore, Vietnam, all these are doing very well. You see Tesla coming as well. We've been hearing all this. We are standing in the best place. I am more interested in how Southeast Asia can become like Euro, if it's possible. You think about it, right? Euro appeared. The European Union came out during that time when America and Russia was having the Cold War. Remember? Yeah. Then after suddenly, there's European Union. And in a way, I feel like we are sitting in a similar situation where if the cards are played well, Southeast Asia could be the largest beneficiary, and we will advance. Now, US wants to bank on India, but unfortunately in India, they are not until the level where they can dominate. Yeah, because infrastructure, land size too big, education level, and stuff like that. Southeast Asia, on the other hand, it's a whole different game. And so I think that we are sitting in a good place. I think that should be the focus, not BRICS. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, as for I stand on your point when you're talking about the US dollar losing dominance. It won't happen in like 2 or 3 years, guys. It will take a few decades.
Yeah, man.
Because the dominance of the US dollar right now, every single trade that is made around the world makes 50 to 60% of it is in USD.
I
This
think still 90
dominance
plus. Still 90
still
plus.
90 plus, huh?
Still 90 plus.
Okay.
Still 90
Okay,
plus.
in that case, then I'm wrong then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
I'm not wrong, I'm not. I could be
Yeah.
wrong as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So you can still see that USD is pretty much used around the world. It's the most widely accepted currency in the world, and
Yeah.
therefore it will take a lot of time for that de-dollarization to happen. And at the end of the day, if you take a look at military strength, United States still stands at one of the top, if not the top. So perhaps one of the reasons why USD is so strong is because of its military strength also. So we have to take a look at that as well, apart from it being the largest economy, it having a larger stock market, so on and so forth. So yeah, we will stop here, Peter. It's been a great session with you, man. Really.
Hey,
Yeah.
thank you very much for inviting me, man. I had fun, bro.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun also. You know, we should do more stuff like this. We should invite different guests and see where things go, you know?
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be interesting. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so
All
much,
right.
Peter. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you very
everyone.
much.
And I'll
See you guys. Thank you,
guys in the next
TJ.
one. Bye.
Thank
Good night.
you, audience.
Stay safe.
See you
Bye.
guys. Bye bye.